Welcome back to She Became Me Live, and I'm back with my crew doing what we do. And again, I am Tina Rogers, and my co-hosts are
Ronieka, Yalonda.
Okay, and today our guest is Bernice Turntime. Bernice has a business called Savannah's Kitchen, so we're going to interview her about the entrepreneurship. How did she get there? What are her passions about that, and what are her plans for the future, and where you can find out about Savannah's Kitchen, how you can get food, order it, maybe get her for catering services and different things like that. So welcome, Bernice.
Hello.
So we're so glad that you was able to join us today. And the first thing that I wanted to ask is, because as you guys can know, Bernice is pretty young. She's a young lady. And she's managed to accomplish this thing like at such a young age. So I admire her for that. Mm-hmm. So why don't you let our audience know how long you've been in business, when did you start, and what inspired you and how did you get there?
Okay. Hello everyone. Of course, as you said, I'm Bernice. Mm-hmm. I am the owner of Savannah's Kitchen. I started off in entrepreneurship in 2014 with my clothing store, Be Love Couture. I went on, and I was about 25 years old. I left my job in corporate, took my last 2 paychecks and my income tax return, and became an entrepreneur.
Oh, okay.
So at that time, I had 2 very young children. Daycare was expensive, but that wasn't the bigger problem. It was more of I wanted to be hands-on and raise my children. I didn't want someone else to raise them for me.
Right.
I've always wanted to be successful and be an entrepreneur. I wrote my first business plan around 7. Actually, wrote one at 14 that was 40 pages long. Wow. So I just wanted to be successful.
Yeah.
So not too many children were doing that around that age. Right. I didn't really play with the dolls and Barbies or be boy crazy. I was trying to figure out how to make my money. And be a strong Black woman. That was something I wanted to advocate. However, as I got older, like I said, I noticed that corporate is just not the typical setting for my mom, my mother, hands-on mother. Right. So the schedules were clashing, the support was, the hands-on support I had was clashing with my work schedule, and I was like, let's divine interventions.
Right.
I always loved fashion, so I said, well, Be Love Couture it is. I went on early 2019, well, right at the end of 2018, I was thinking about relocating out to Dallas. And I said, well, I've cooked all my life, and I've cooked for many family functions and stuff. I just never did it for money, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. And I said, well, let me see if I could raise some money by cooking to get out to Dallas.
Right.
Yeah, I know. I was about to leave everybody. Nobody really knew what was going on. The first day I sold meals, I grossed almost $2,000 out of my friend's kitchen.
And how old were you at that time?
About 30, about 29, 30.
Okay.
Yeah. And so I called each person that were close to me and I said, can I use your kitchen on this certain day? So each Sunday, I chose a different side of town.
Wow.
I did. And I looked at the sales and how they were coming in and who could come out and what side of town, and I like logistics like that. I just seen how it worked out, and it was wonderful. Just having a drive-through restaurant in everybody's kitchen.
Wow.
Eventually, I mustered up the faith to have it coming out of my home. I don't know. I was a little finicky with giving out mine. They didn't know that. They thought it's because I lived on the 3rd floor. We didn't want them coming up and down the stairs. But however, moving on from that, we got a chance to see I can make some good money off of food.
Right.
And everybody loved good food where you can taste the love and the dedication in it. And that was different. And so here in Indianapolis, we definitely need more of it.
Right.
So I said, well, the little stuff is not, the little meals is okay, but it's a little more time consuming for my life with my children. At that time, I was still a foster parent. So I said, let me just do exclusive catering. Let me focus on corporate America and luncheons and functions and stuff in corporate, and that's where we hit.
Wow.
So I found my niche. However, I do serve still for weddings and parties, baby showers, and stuff like that. But I really don't typically do a lot under 100 people capacity. But I'm still here. That I mean, don't reach out to us. But that's just more my focus. But yeah, that's where it all started with Savannah's Kitchen.
Wow.
Wow.
Impressive.
How did you come up with the name Savannah's Kitchen?
So coincidentally, during the time when I was playing around from side to side, I didn't have a name for anything. Early 2019, I said, okay, Bernice, they're gonna be knocking on your door. You gotta make this a business. What's the name? And so I had already knew I was gonna be giving birth to a little girl, and I already knew what I was gonna name her. But not too many people around me knew that much. So I said, Savannah's Kitchen. That was her name.
Okay.
And Savannah came about 9 months later, or about 8 months later, and it's been Savannah's Kitchen ever since. So yes, they call me Savannah a lot. Because typically you name your business after
yourself, right.
Well, I wanted my children to know that what's mine is theirs, and this legacy is for you, and not for me. So just something they can hold on to. I'm not too sure they're gonna want to be in the kitchen, but that's okay. They have their own different level of entrepreneurship, so that's gonna be awesome to see which way they go. But yep, that's where Savannah's Kitchen came from.
Okay. So you said that you do a lot of corporate luncheons. What are some of the type of foods that you prepare for them, or type of luncheons?
Right. So recently, I just fed all the employees of Indigo, which is our Metro Transit transportation system in Indianapolis, and that was 800 of them.
Oh
Wow.
Yeah,
that was a big order.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Still trying to catch up on sleep. That was an amazing experience. We did cold cut sandwiches on Italian loaf bread. We did roast beef and provolone, ham and Swiss, and turkey with cheddar cheese, with the tomatoes, the onions, and the lettuce. And then they also got a fresh baked chocolate chip cookie. And we did an Italian pasta salad with chips and a drink. And so for the vegan meals, we had a quinoa salad, a cold quinoa salad that had all kinds of yummy things in it. And they also got a pasta salad, a vegan chocolate chip cookie, a bag of vegan chips, and a drink. So it was awesome.
So you make vegan meals too
ma'am.
as well?
That's
Okay.
great.
Well, that's good to know. You know, a lot of people are vegan these days. So.
Or vegetarian.
Okay.
Okay.
And so I have several things that you have touched on. And so for those that watched last episode, we had a seasoned professional entrepreneur who found her passion. You being a younger entrepreneur, I just think it is so impressive. You know, that you were able to tap into your skills so early and be so organized. I mean, I'm gonna say as an entrepreneur, you've done things that you know, and you're planning and you know, just very thoughtful and intentional in everything that you did. So congratulations on that.
Thank you.
And so what you know, when you think about because I know the title of this segment is Finding Time, you know, as it relates to being an entrepreneur. So you touched on balancing being a mother, and that is where you placed your values. You know, you valued being a quality parent and being at home and understanding your place in business. How would you recommend to someone who is trying to find the time as you have, and how have you utilized other people in doing that? Because you know, tell me if I misunderstood. So you started pretty much as a one-woman shop, and now how many employees do you have?
So right now, I They're all contractors.
Okay.
I bring them in as needed.
Okay.
But for the most part, I am a one-woman army.
Wow.
And so it's all based on the need
Wow.
of that contract that I receive. And so I will have my friends that are doctors, teachers,
Okay.
I have therapists. They all have their full times.
Yeah. Wow.
And as I expressed, we all are definitely, I always want to promote being strong and independent and as African American woman.
Mhm.
So typically that's what you will see working with me. I have learned to use my resources more.
Mhm.
I was not that resourceful at first. I really was tiring myself out, not asking for help.
Right.
So the biggest thing I will say is open your mouth.
Yes.
Ask for what you need.
That's good.
I spent over 30 years not really knowing how to do that, thinking that if I did, that made me a needy person.
Mhm.
Right.
Okay.
Mhm.
One of the latest events in my life taught me that a lot of that is pride.
Yes.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
not
That's
being
good.
independent. It's
Right.
being prideful,
Right,
not
right,
asking
right,
for help when you really need it.
Right.
Now, when you are that strong being that's keeping everybody up and everybody's
Yeah.
watching you going, Bernice is there, she
Yeah.
always gonna come through.
Yeah.
They don't really think to see if
Yeah.
you need.
Right.
That's right.
But you gotta open your mouth and
That's
ask.
right.
That's right.
Yeah.
Good.
That's
Right.
good.
So all I say is, depending on what business they decide to go in, use your resource. If you got people like say, Bernice, call me, ask me. I can
Right.
help. I can be there. And it doesn't even matter if they really are that skilled.
Right.
Allow people to help you where they at.
That's right.
To
Right.
meet you where they at.
Exactly.
Meet you where you're at. You
Yeah.
know, and that wouldn't make you a needy person.
Right.
And so, as I said, it took until last Tuesday for me
Right.
to realize that a lot of that was pride,
Mhm.
and I didn't know what that looked like. I thought I
Right,
just want to be a strong, independent
Right.
black woman.
Now, how old are you now, Bernice?
I will be 33. Don't tell nobody, y'all.
I mean,
I'm
just,
not ready.
I'm
In
impressed.
September.
Amazing.
I'm impressed by how wise you are
Yeah,
at 33.
My parents did well.
Yes.
My parents did well.
I-
And so there are things I've been very passionate about all my life, and that's where I kind of navigated what I end up being, kind of find your purpose.
Yeah,
Well, I
that's
hope you
good.
don't mind. What I'm gonna say is that I also want to point out to people that right now, when you talk about being strong, Bernice lost her father last week, and she's here today,
Yeah.
and she's really been strong and kept her commitment to be here today, to do her interview, and and that's not a hard task to fight through. So
Yes.
I just wanted to mention that is the strongest thing that
Yeah,
anybody
that's
could do. That
Yes,
strength
yes.
there.
Yes.
So definitely, I wanted to commend you for that.
Thank you.
So you
Absolutely.
would definitely have accomplished what you set out to be a strong
Yes,
black woman. So
Yeah.
you're definitely displaying that. So
Yeah. Where do your cooking influences come from?
My parents. So hopefully, in the future, you guys will get the chance to meet my mom, which is how.
well, actually, I know your mom.
Oh yeah, I know.
Yeah.
That's how I know Miss Tina.
Yeah,
So they all worked together about 30 years or more.
Oh,
I don't know. I can't remember.
30 or more, probably
30 or
about
more.
33 years ago.
Right. Before I was born, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Wow.
So that part alone has integrated many different networks because of how connected my parents were. So a lot of times, if they knew my parents, they knew how to reach out to us. And we have a family full of entrepreneurs. There's a lot going on, but when it comes to the cooking, my mom is a cook, and she also did her own a touch of class by Karen with catering as a young woman to provide for her family while still working a full-time job. While
Oh, that's
getting
that's
degrees.
another whole story.
Yeah, that's
dealing
all.
with her
That's
mom,
why I
so-
said I'm not gonna go there because I know Miss Tina gonna get it all out of her. So yes, it's a lot of influence behind that, and the cooking is just it was like gifted. It's my
Wow.
gift.
Mhm.
So I tell people, you might have visions for your life. I would love to be a judge or attorney or something. And I'm not saying that's not going to happen. It's just sometimes you let your gift make way for you.
Yes,
it's a lot
right.
easier.
Yes.
It's a lot easier. You can do it in your sleep.
Oh yeah.
And so there are things that are just that easy for you, and there are things that we try and explore, and like, okay, that's not really for me, you know, and we kind of move. move on from it. So don't waste your time too long in entrepreneurship.
Right.
Move on and until you find your niche and what's not draining you.
Right. Right.
Good.
Right. Right.
Good.
Okay, guys, we're gonna move on, and we're gonna do some sheet mail. And sheet mail is the questions that our viewers sent in, and they want an opinion from us, and we are gonna do the best we can with these opinions. And remember, they're just that, our opinion. So we're gonna let our guests pull one of these little notes out and find out what we'll be talking about, what we'll be giving our opinion on today.
Alrighty. So, what do you look for in a relationship? Oh, Miss Tina.
Well, somebody, some viewer wants to know, so we gotta give them perspective.
Yes.
So you can give us an idea, Bernice, what do you look for in a relationship?
Okay. So, personally, I like consistency.
Yeah,
That's the
yes.
first thing that came to mind
Yeah,
when I
yeah.
think about it,
Yeah.
because no matter what, we are who we are.
Yeah.
People learn to love you for just that,
Yeah,
as long as you stay that person.
Yeah, yeah.
And when you switch the game up, you
Mhm.
can't expect for them to want to still be with you in that relationship. Another thing I might look for in a relationship is a spiritual foundation.
Mm-hmm.
It's not so high and overbearing to the point where it would push somebody away from another,
Right.
but the open heart, the open mind,
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
because we all evolve and grow at different levels,
Right,
and we know men are
times.
way
Mhm.
slower. So they might grow and find their spiritual inheritance at 35.
Yeah.
Right, right.
So if they were open minded and willing to work, but you gave up at 29,
Right.
you might have gave up your soulmate too
Right.
early. So
Right.
those two just come to mind right away.
Mm-hmm. What you
I'll
guys got?
say, loyalty and room to grow.
Okay.
Good.
Loyalty and room to grow will be my
Things
two.
you're looking for.
Yeah.
What you got, Yalonda?
I mean, you all have said so many things that I value, and I think that understanding what we value is so important in looking,
Yeah, yeah.
you know, and identifying what we're looking for in a mate or in another person. And divine timing is everything,
Yeah.
you know, and having an ability to, I look for, you know, when me and my husband started dating, we were two completely different people than we are today.
Oh, yeah.
We just simply, it took growth and self-reflection and really commitment, you know, and commitment is one of the hardest areas,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, to evaluate, you know, do you really want to stick and stay
Right, right.
with a person?
Right.
And do they have the ability to nurture and care and understand? When we went through counseling, the pastor that counseled us, he said, are you willing to get an education on Yalonda? Are you really, you know,
Right.
Yolandaology is what he called it.
Right,
And
right.
that is
Right.
really understanding the needs of another person. Somebody
Right.
has to want to do that too.
Right.
You know, depending on the type of relationship that you're seeking, but you look, in my opinion, you look for people that value the same things that
Yeah.
you do.
Yeah.
And that's key.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I would definitely say compatibility. Because trying to fit a square block into a triangle peg is just not gonna work. You know, so a lot of times, definitely I would say evaluate yourself. You know, what are the things that are important to you? So if you absolutely know, I'm just gonna take, for example, if you don't like a person that smokes, then why would you date a smoker? You're just gonna complain, and then they're gonna become bitter, and you know, they're gonna feel like, you know, that you're putting them down.
Good point.
You know, if you don't like certain things, then you should just know, you need to know your deal breakers. And if you don't know your
That's
deal
good.
breakers, then you constantly gonna keep stumbling into situations that you're gonna, it's not a good thing to find out your deal breakers once you're in it.
Mm-hmm.
You should just go ahead and define your deal breakers. Now, sometimes, like you said, as we grow and evolve, we don't know what our deal breakers are until we grow and understand. But you should try as much as possible to know what your deal breakers are. So, we're gonna see if we got time to do one more, and, let's let, Ronieka get one.
Oh Lord, now, here we go. Oh, let's see. All right, how can we as a city work together to stop the violence that has occurred on the east side of Indianapolis?
Oh,
Mm.
How can we as a city?
now that's a hard one. I've actually been talking about that, with some of my family and, friends lately, because, we have a lot of violence that's occurring, every night. And I understand that, the movement Black Lives Matters is pretty much, is racial based about other nationalities. But my concern basically geared to that question, and it's a personal concern. What can we do, each one of us, to slow down the violence of black on black males? Because at the end of the day, until we can love ourselves and stop killing ourselves, we don't really have time to worry about anybody else, because we're killing ourselves faster than anybody else can possibly do. So that is the crisis to me, is stopping black men from dying every night, because that is what's happening more frequently than anything to us as a culture of people. So definitely, I don't know what that answer is, but I think we should talk about it, just like everybody's talking about everything else. What can we do to change the minds of black males?
First thing that came to mind when she read it for me is love. A lot of these people, they leave their homes because the love is not at home.
That's right.
And they grow up and they forced into manhood, and that little boy has not been loved and taken care of. So they go out here and tend for themselves. And they make a lot of mistakes that they can't live with. So they're driven to drugs, alcohol, and even into mental illness. And maybe they didn't even carry as a child, but because of the traumas.
The traumas,
That they experienced, they did not know how to deal with it. I would say maybe we can't change it for the ones that are grown.
Right.
But we can make a difference for the ones that are not, the children now.
Right,
And
definitely.
eventually, we'll see it, love drive out all of that evilness. Because light does drive out darkness.
Right.
And right now, we living in such a selfish generation that we're seeing parents walk away from the needs of their children due to stress, overwhelming, or not being educated enough to know what to do for that child. And they're done with it. Maybe the other parent has already left and never been there. They don't want to do it anymore, and they're ready to just live. However, when God gave us these children, they were a gift.
Yes.
So it's been taken care of.
That's right.
Just for the time until He needs them back.
Mm-hmm.
And even within ourselves, we're on borrowed time. And if people stand on that foundation, like I said, some type of spirituality, it does bring compliance, and it does bring order. And that's why we see in a lot of your religious neighborhoods and everything, they just tend to do a lot better with how society goes. Even with corruption from time to time, it still is a lot better.
You are so wise.
You sure you're 30?
You are so
Don't do that. I mean,
Seriously.
I don't know how I was gonna get my words together.
No, it's very, very, I mean, that's wisdom speaking.
Definitely.
And it's a loaded question, and one that is challenging, and everyone has an opinion about it.
Right.
Everyone has a thought from, and it stems from various experiences, and in working in the field and seeing, the importance of collaboration between faith-based organizations, out-of-school time providers, mental health providers, community-based organizations. It's going to take
the village,
the type of coming together like we've never seen to really discuss real solutions about, number one, we do have to get to the root causes of, we can't speak for everyone. Obviously, to explain why a young person goes and kills another, or a grown person for that matter.
Right.
But what drives someone to violence and not understanding the shared experiences that have that systemically have oppressed particularly people of color and Black and brown people. We can easily say, I know that I can sit here and say that might not have been my nurturing to want to go hurt someone as a result of being hurt by my life experiences, or not feeling love, or not loving myself for that matter. So, you know what I mean? There are so many, and mental illness is, understanding the mental health needs in our community, I think is key to overcoming. But I don't have an answer or a recommendation, as because we just will never be able to say this will end violence. But we do know is that we need to take care of our youth, and we need to help them understand their character, and I believe character education is important. I think simply we can say it, and it may sound simplified, that what we value we do. And so when you don't value life, it is easier for you to take a life.
Yes.
Because you haven't been nurtured to understand your value in living.
Right.
And potential. And some young people don't even see their future potential. They figure, if all I know and all I've seen is if I saw somebody take somebody out because in the name of loyalty, or you disrespected me, or whatever the case might be, it's not always that type of circumstance, and I'm definitely not stereotyping, so I hope no one takes it that way. But there is something true about it, that what you see, you do.
Yes.
And what you value, you do. And as adults in these nurturing young people, and I'm gonna say it, I've said it on episodes before, we have to be what we want to see.
That's right.
Yes.
And I believe that Bernice mentioned, mental illness. I believe faith-based organizations are key, because yes, we hope that our congregants, church congregants, will rely on their spirituality and their faith to make decisions. But if I'm dealing with mental illness in my home, I'm bringing that into the church as well. And so if I don't have anyone in the church that's equipped to know how to deal with me as a person that has mental illness or challenged by some things, deal with me outside of telling me to pray it away.
That's it.
I believe in the power of prayer. We'll understand that. But at the same time, we got to hit everyone from all angles. Everybody that touches a life has to be equipped. And so I believe those are some of the things that are necessary.
But like you said, it's going to take a village. It's going to take all types and everybody from different angles to tackle this type of subject. So, but once again, we have come to the time where we have to close for this segment. And we thank you guys for spending time with us. And hope you will come back and catch the next show. Once again, I'm going to see if Bernice has some information where people can reach you at or contact you at, Bernice.
So SavannahsKitchenIndie.com is my website. Savannahs_kitchen_indie is my Instagram. I also have a Savannah's Kitchen business page. My phone number is 317-727-2253. And that is a direct line to get in touch with me for orders. And I'm also on LinkedIn and a couple other things, but I'm sure you'll be able to find me just typing in.
And if they can't, and this information should be at the bottom of the screen, but you guys can always contact me, Yalonda, Ronieka, any of us, and we'll definitely get you that information as well. So until next time, we'll see you guys.
Bye.
Bye.